Hello, friends. Welcome to Behind the Designs, where I create a beautiful life through creative planning. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm going to be talking about four different ways, four different ways to get on track with your reading, tracking your books, and setting up a reading journal. All right, so what I want to do is this has been on my to-do list for a long time, and I'm wanting to kind of track my books that I read and kind of have a place or a central place where I can list the books I'm interested in reading. So I thought I would share the different methods that obviously, this is not an exhaustive list by any means, but it is a kind of short list of about 4 items or 4 different ways that you can track your reading, and then I'm going to kind of set up a few. So let me quickly go through the different ways, and then I'm going to show you the different methods within those 4 options. Okay. So, of course, the first option, the most obvious for me anyway, is a classic happy planner. So you can use a classic notebook or a classic planner. So I happen to have this in stock or in my inventory. I don't want to say stock, but in my inventory. And it was the item I was going to be setting up. And basically, it's just a notebook. It has dot-lined paper. Let me get to a page right here. So it's just dot-lined paper. And so, this, of course, has its expandability options. And so this is one option I'm going to kind of play with today. So, of course, there's the classic disc bound. Then, of course, there is the mini disc bound, which I do not have. So there was a mini, I think it was called Bookish planner or notebook. It kind of had that book vibe going with it. I did not pick that up, but I am going to be setting a tracker up in here in my mini that is just a little different. So yeah, we're going to do that today too. Okay, so then there's mini, again, disc bound. So these are the 2 options, like disc bound, they're just different sizes. So sometimes in your mini, maybe someone might struggle to figure out, how would I put it in my mini? And then, of course, we have the bullet journal method, which from my past videos, I did set this up, or at least started to set it up. And of course, I haven't finished it yet, but this is a bullet style journal. And I created these pages, mixed media. I wanted to I had different thoughts about how to use my bullet journal from Happy Planner. And I started it out with a reading log. So, as you can see, it was 2024, so I did it earlier in the year. And so these are the different books. I could go in and write the title for each of the books. And then I had a second page here, which I have not even completed yet. So this is one method in a bullet journal. You can, create your own pages. Bottom line with a bullet journal is the creativity is wide open. It is wide open even with a classic, but for me, being a creative, there is just something about a bullet journal that just opens up so many creative doors. And so I will go back to this, but I'm going to start out slowly because I love the concept of reading. I've always read when I was younger. You get busy in life, it kind of gets away from you. I do kind of want to introduce it, not obviously the level that I used to, but when I get more into it or have the time to do it, I might find this more useful, but I am going to finish those pages Maybe not this year because we are now in November, but they'll get finished. Okay. On the same lines as a bullet journal is I have this, which I have kind of, just quickly flipped through on my channel before. I have 3 years of planning everything. Everything you could think about putting in your planner, I probably have put it in here. This is my 365 Day Stology notebook. It is a B6 size. And in the back, as you can tell, I didn't finish some pages. Let me find the reading book log that I did, because I did one. And I don't think I marked it. Let me take a peek here. Okay. So as well, when I was working in this stology, which as you can tell, 2022 is kind of scattered. I really wasn't in it for the full year. I kept bouncing back and forth. But when I was in there, I did create a reading bookshelf. So it was the traditional bookshelf. And this was, let me see if I can unbend this a bit. Okay, so what I had created was, of course, the bookshelf. I created, a color for the month that I read it. Over here, I put, the books I want to read. And down here was a little quote I wrote. She read books as one would breathe air to fill up and live. I thought that was like the perfect quote for a book log. So this as well is a bullet journal. It's just in a soft-sided method. So it's, a regular soft side notebook. I just happen to have it in a plastic cover. But this could easily be recreated in here. When I did this, I just kind of did the creative thing. So, this is just to show you the different ways in which you can create a reading log. I hope you're a little more successful in reading than I am, because clearly I did not get it finished. So this is one other method that I had created, and actually I want to tuck my little note back there. Let's see if I can find the page. I'll just kind of tuck it in anywhere. I think there were just more lists of books I wanted to read. Okay, and then I do not have a page to show you in here. And soon I'm going to kind of push some things off, not push off, but move these things off the table. Okay, last method is a traveler's notebook. So you can kind of think of a traveler's notebook in the same way as a bullet journal. It's the same concept. There is a journal book. You can create in it however you want. Again, I don't have a page to show you, but I could show you a cover. Again, I put a different title on this. This was a custom cover that was made, and I just thought it was fun though, because it had the little book stacked on it, and I had it customized to say blog posts and ideas. But you could put on there books to read, book tracker, whatever you want to name your reading journal. So this here is just a little side project I'm working on. I'm just testing a few things, but that's a sidebar that doesn't have anything to do with today's video. So traveler's notebook. So you got your 4 ways. You have a classic disc, a mini disc, bullet journal, and traveler's notebook. Okay, so I'm not doing anything in this, nor these. Okay, so the 2 I'm working in is my discs today. So let me set these aside. Okay, let's clear the path. Now then, I have 2 things in this book that I was going to be putting together. Okay, so this again being a notebook, it did not have a, let me put this over here. Okay, so this book did not have a name page, the page you're typically used to when you open up a planner. So it just goes right into the notes. And I just ruined my nail polish. I get finicky about those things. Anyhow, sidebar. Okay, so in this notebook, I added in a few papers that kind of had that book theme to them. So I had these extra papers. I added those in. And then I had this, which was from, I want to say, one of the extension packs. Again, same concept. It's a bookshelf. You know, you've got your books that you can color in, write the title in. I also started creating one. Hadn't finished it. So many starts and and stops, but never anything that went through. Okay, and that was it for there. The other thing is on this reading list paper, so this would be like the books you've read, not the ones you want to read, but the ones you've read. On the back side is the log of books you want to read. So again, there is multiple ways in which you can set up a reading journal. And I'm sharing what I'm sharing because, again, I want to be a little more diligent about reading and making it more of a habit as opposed to, you know, something I would like to do. So, while I have these pages already set up, I do want to create 2 pages. Now, that being said, let me put this aside for a second. That being said, let me bring out my classic. Okay. So in my classic, I do have a tab for my printables right there. So I'm going to open that up. And you know that in this section, I keep all of my printables. And you remember that I've brought up that in the shop is the bookshelf reading tracker. So I am going to take this out. Now, again, it's completely up to you. You have the option of creating an entirely separate reading journal, or you can create a section in your planner. It's completely up to you. But I just want to show you multiple ways that you can accomplish that. Okay. So I just have some projects I'm working on over here, which is the only space I have to work with, and I've got things stacked up on it. Okay, so with this reading journal, I'm going to go ahead and take off these 2 pages, or, you know, Happy Planner, Packards, packing lists, not sure what you call it, packing paper. Okay, so I'm going to be doing something a little like unconventional. I am going to set up both this classic reading journal as well as a page in my mini. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to keep track in both until I fully decide on which one makes more sense for me. So I will kind of be duplicating information, but for now that's going to have to be the way I work it. So the next thing I want to talk about are, for me, the 2 main things you should always have in your reading journal. There is a number of ways you can customize it. I'll talk about a few of them. But I feel like the top 2 things you should absolutely have in your reading journal is, first, a bookshelf. You should have a bookshelf so that you can write in the books you read. You can see your progress. You can have a little fun, color it in. That's why I love this printable from my shop, because, and here's this, I just noticed the quote too. Same quote that I had in my Stology way back in 20 to 22 is the same one I put here. So, as I was saying, you know, you can go through and color in the books that you've read. You write in the title. It helps you to see what you've done. And then, you know, in this printable, there are some other fun things you can go through and color in your spare time, or, you know, when you need a moment or a break. So I am going to, for now, I'm going to put this right here. And then I'm going to bring out, because I already pulled the paper out, I'm going to do this over here, maybe. let's see. Okay, so I'd already pulled this paper out. And what I want to do is just super simple. I want to create a log. And this log is going to be the books that I want to read. So not the ones I've read. They will eventually become the books I've read. But I want to create, so I want it to say books. I think I'm just going to keep it simple. Books to read. Let's just do that. So how do I want to, let me do some lettering. Let's see, what have I got here? I've got, so this is, I believe, my hardtip Fudenosuke. So I'm going to pull that out. I was going to do a color, but I think I'm going to keep it simple. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Let me see, is this what I want to use? Let's give it a try. So I'm just going to keep it simple, books I want to read, or books to read. All right. And here we go, my left-hander. Don't mind, you know, my little angle here. Okay. Super simple, just a little title. Now what I want to do is, I think, let me see, I need a piece of paper. You know, as planners, we have papers everywhere until we need them. I just need a scrap piece of paper. Okay, let me try this. I just want to see how dark this is. I think that'll work. So all I'm going to do is start it out with a few dots down the side. Now, I could absolutely separate this. I could write more here, or I could just write them across. I think probably to keep it simple, I'm just going to write them across so that hopefully I don't go on to more than one line. And I'm just going to go down and give it a faint gray dot so that I can write in the books I would like to read. And I find that a lot of the times I take pictures or a screenshot in my phone and then it gets lost in all the photos. So by having this one central location, it will help me to know and keep track of which ones to consider picking up. All right, so there's my dots. And now I have a few other fun things. I don't know what I will use what for. So these came out of one of the Happy Planner sticker books. I have this cute little eyeglasses charm. Okay, took a little bit, but I had this little stack of books charm. Now, I could put it on here, but I would have to use a fob or chain to hook this onto, and I may do that. So here's some little fun things. I do have this dashboard, which I do intend to put in here. So I've got that. And then I also pulled out these two things that I had. This I think I've had forever. And this one, it has stickers, and then it has these like journal cards. And I'm not even sure, again, what they're called or where they're from. This is fun as well. You can make this into a book log, you know, like a quick read book log. So I've got these, and I think what I want to do, I want to put something up top. Let's see, what can I add? Definitely I'm going to add some sunglasses. Listen to me, glasses. What else? These aren't completely book things, but I'm going to kind of use it as such because they do have like book stickers. So I'm going to use, let's see, we have a black pair down here. So let's add a few colors. I could add orange and is there a peach? No peach. Teal. Let's do orange and teal. So I'm just going to add some fun little, although now that I look at it, let's just kind of do this over here. It'd be fun to add in a few glasses. Here we go. All right. And again, I put these on a sticker backer or a disc. It was sticker that you can pop into so you can absolutely, this is a dashboard. So you can also pop this in there. But sometimes I find that those things bulk it out, so I don't always keep them in there. Let's see, I meant to look at the other one. See if there was anything that I might be able to find small enough maybe to put up there. Let's see. Coffee, yes. But that's not what I'm looking for. Let's see. I don't want to use any more glasses, and I think that's the end of the... Okay, there's nothing in there I can add. So I'm going to let it be. Unless I used one of these, right? A little book. What did we not use? This peachy color, which I don't have. Let's go with one of the pinks. Let's try that. See how cute that looks. Okay, perfect. So I now have both a bookshelf and then a books I want to read. Now I don't have an exact spot just yet to put this, but I am going to pop it in here because I don't want to lose it. So I'm just going to kind of flip over and pop this in. I haven't expanded this enough because again, I wouldn't say I'm an avid reader just because, well, as you can see, I had many unfinished pages. So my goal, of course, is to fill this in. I'm not pressuring myself with a timeline or, anything like that. I'm just going to try and take it at ease. This is just one way where you can take the printable from my shop, combine it with a simple, easy to create paper, and you now are ready to go. So let's get on to creating the one for the mini. In fact, I am going to put this over there since I'm a left-hander. Okay, so in my mini, I thought it would be fun to adjust the planner insert that I received from Jane's Agenda. And they do have a book reading insert, which I did not purchase. I purchased these. They're called Flex Notes. Let me get there. Okay. All right. So I found this cute little eyeglass dashboard in my stash, so I popped it in there. So that will designate to me that this is the book section. So these are the Flex Notes from Jane's Agenda. And what I plan to do, as you can see from my little note, is I'm going to make this section my books to read section. It's not, and it may only be just this one page, but it'll be done. So I'm going to take this off, and let's see. Okay, so I'm definitely going to be using one of these, and let's see. I'm pulling over this little sticky note that I think would be fun because it kind of coordinates between the two. So it is a sticky note, but there's nothing at the bottom. So I am going to grab my Tombow Mono Adhesive dots. Where's the sticky stop? I'll probably give the sticky part a little something extra because it doesn't always stay sticky. It is a sticky note, but I want it to kind of stick down permanently. Let me fold some of this sticky tape back. Okay. So I'm going to put this down here just for fun, just a little stack. Now on this paper, I still had sticky on there. You're going to see how I set it up, and then you can decide how you might want to set it up. I'm going to take, I think I want to do a green. The green is speaking to me, or do I want to do blue? Oh, no, I changed my mind. I guess it's like a teal. That's the color speaking to me. All right. So we're going to put this in the upper corner. Oop, not where I wanted it. Okay, try that again. All right, so I'm going to put this here. Same thing, I'm going to write on it. So let's see, what color do I want to do? In fact, I think I'm going to do something different. So let me grab out, where's my traveler's notebook? Okay, so this is my, it's a friction erasable pen. It's an 05. And I've been kind of obsessed with it lately, so I'm going to try with this one. Same thing, I'm just going to do books to read. Okay. So I now have a log for books to read, and so let me give you a few ideas. So you have your title. In this area is a small spot for you to write the books you may want to read. And then as you read them, you can just check it off. Then down here, I can either write notes or quotes, or I could even create, if I wanted to see a visual, a small bookshelf down here. So there, again, are multiple ways. Now, I am going to write, so I needed this thicker pen, but I want to go into my thinner pen now. Let me get this one out, if I can. I am currently reading a book, and it is a book I want to read, so I'm going to put it in here. Okay. So this is now going to go back in my planner. Let me get some things out of the way here. And let's see, this goes back over there. Okay. So let me now talk about, just briefly, the other things you could consider putting in your planner. Let me get this in there. Sometimes I put too much in here. I try to change the pages too often. So this one is now in my mini. And I've got both of these that are ready to go. In fact, let me just tuck this around here so you can see this a little better. And let's see, get this back in here so I don't lose things. Okay, so I have now a mini books to read, a larger bookshelf from the print shop, or from my Printables shop, and then also a books to read log. Now, what are some of the ways you could add more things in? So if you wanted to get that technical or that deep into your book reading, you could create, beyond these pages, you could create a reading review. So this might be someplace where you use one of two things. You might use a horizontal planner from Happy Planner, or horizontal, pages from a planner, that you can put like a little picture of the book, and you can write like a little summary of the book, kind of like a mini book report of sorts. Or you can use just a plain old piece of paper, same idea. You'd put a small picture of the book that you printed off, the book cover. You'd write your review, then you can put some kind of border in between, washi or something of that nature, and then again, write your next book and so forth. So those are two ways that you could create a book review page. You could do an annual stats page. So you might do it by month, and you might like maybe make it a book image that you can write in maybe the number of books you read. Or you can create a numbered log or tracker of the books and, highlight them as you complete them. Let's see, what else could you add? You could add in, so your stats and your goals, are kind of the same. For example, if you were going to set book reading goals, you might say, in this quarter, I want to read, what is it, one book a week, which that's crazy to me, but some people can do that. One book a week, you've got what, 12 books then in a quarter approximately. So you would then, set your goal for each quarter. It's going to be, 12 books. Or more if you want to challenge yourself. Let's see. You could also create a book series page. So if you are following a series or reading through a series of books, which were kind of things that I did when I was younger, I would, my mother and I would share our books, and so she'd read the book and give it to me, and it was a series, and we would just keep a succession going. So you could do a number of things. You can do squares to represent books, and you can write, the series of that collection, and then under that, do a little dot and write down all of the books that are contained within that series. You can do some circles. Let's see, you can do hearts if you like. So that's another way in which you can track books in your reading journal. Let's see. Oh, you can also come up with a monthly review or wrap up of sorts where you go through and, kind of talk about, it's basically journaling. You'll talk about how well you think you did with, say, meeting your goals or reading the books you wanted to read. Maybe, what you did or how you felt as you were reading them. How successful you felt once you finished them, that kind of thing. So there's a number of things, and that's just a short list of the things you could put into your planner or reading journal. So let me just say one last thing before I finish up, which is why I did both of them. So just to confirm, they're both disc, but I find sometimes it's easier for me to plan out what I really want in my, whatever I'm creating, whatever notebook or planner I'm creating. It's easier for me in a classic to kind of go through, do all the things, figure out what works, what doesn't. Then I can translate that over to my mini and only put in my mini exactly what I know I need or use. So absolutely, again, my two top things are a bookshelf and a books to read. So in a way, this kind of represents my bookshelf. I'm just not coloring things in. Again, I could create that down here if I wanted to, but I decided to just have a little fun since I did have my printable here. But now I can just go through, check them off, so forth. These will be a duplication until I get into a vibe of how I want to work my reading journal. But let me stop talking. I do tend to get going on the things that I am passionate about. So this is a new habit I'm looking to start. And so I hope I have given you as many ideas as I could to setting up your own reading journal, bookshelf journal, whatever you want to call it. And that I've given you some different ideas between the 4 different ways that I have used or set up a bookshelf or book tracking kind of system. So, and I had fun doing it, and I hope you enjoyed what I did, and it inspired you somehow to maybe get back into reading even. Now, if you're going to get back into reading, I'm going to suggest a book. It's been a while since I read this book, and but I loved it. If you're creative, or even if you're not and you want to understand, why you think the way you think when you think of creative things, if that makes any sense, let me suggest this book. I read this book some time ago and I absolutely loved it. I mean, as you can tell, I've got some pages marked and so forth. There were probably pages that had quotes on them, so I may include those down here. But I'm actually going to go through and reread this. I loved it that much, and I want to now grab out of it the summaries that I want to keep maybe in here. So if you want to read a book, I suggest this: Creative Living Beyond Fear, Big Magic. You'll love it. Trust me. Okay, that is that. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you know when I post my next video. So there's minimal things I can link for you, but any links I can will be in the description box below. And I hope you have a wonderful day as you create a beautiful life, one plan at a time. Thank you for watching.